Hi everyone, it's Agnes and welcome to a brand new year, 2020. May this be the best year yet. To start off the brand new year, I've got a success story from a viewer on the channel called E. It goes like this. Hi Agnes, I want to share my story with your viewers to hopefully give them some more reassurance that law of attraction does work. My story begins more than 25 years ago when I was 13 years old. I left home at 13 to attend a small private boarding. The first few weeks, I noticed that my heart would run and jump around in my chest every time I was near one specific person. He was much older than me at the time. He was 18 in his final year of school. I was too shy to speak to him, but he must have also reacted to the energy between us because both of our friends would tease us about the other. When he graduated at the end of the school year, he wrote a sweet message in my yearbook basically saying that I was cute but too young. I wrote a poem for him and wished him well. He gave me a bead bracelet and told me that it was a wish bracelet. He tied it on my wrist and told me to make a wish and that when it falls off, my wish will come true. Then, with one kiss on my forehead, he said goodbye and left. I made my wish to see him again, and to my father's blatant disapproval, I wore that bracelet until it fell off. My SP is from another country that speaks another language, so of course, when it came time to choose which language I would study in school, I chose his language. I studied abroad several times in his country, and I would let him know when I was there, but our schedules never aligned for us to see each other. As time passed, I moved on in life. I felt feelings for other guys and I became serious with one man. We lived together and we were talking about marriage, but we had one problem. I wanted kids and he did not. We broke up over that. When I left him, I moved overseas to my specific person's country. This time we reconnected. He took me on a date. We had one amazing kiss at the end of the night. A few days after the date with my specific person, my ex-boyfriend flew to the country where I was now living and had changed his mind about having kids. He asked me to marry him, which I did. A few years later, I was divorced and I had a child. I dated some after my divorce. I dated some after my divorce, but in the back of it about my specific person. I reached out to him and he invited me to come and visit him. It was strange because we'd known each other for so long, but we didn't really know each other that well. However, I knew with 100% certainty that he was a gentleman and that I would be okay if I stayed with him. I flew to his country. He picked me up at the airport and we had one amazing, fun and romantic weekend. After that, we decided to have a long-distance relationship because I had a child to take care of in my country and he had a business to run in his country. We were committed for 2 long years, long distance. We found ways of being together about every 2 or 3 months, and I spent a lot of time with his friends and family. He was also becoming close to my son. And as it goes with all of these stories, I began to think that I was not good enough for him. I began to think that he wanted other girls, and maybe he was even with other women when we were apart. As much as I loved him, I became jealous and insecure. We broke up at a beautiful wedding in Paris. I drank too much wine. I made a spectacle of myself on the dance floor, and I also wound up crying that evening, convincing that he did not want to be with me. When we left Paris, I knew my heart was over. I knew in my heart it was over. On the flight home, I sent him a needy message saying that I could understand why he wouldn't want to be with me. He responded kindly but agreed that a breakup was for the best. As many of you can relate, I was crushed, destroyed, and devastated. I was very depressed. We had very little contact in the first year after our breakup. Thank God I was wise enough not to beg or plead. He reached out to me on holidays and birthdays to say hello, but nothing really more than that. I tried calling him once about 6 months after our breakup, but he never returned my call. I sent him a voice message over WhatsApp that told him that I still thought of him, I still loved him, but I also understood his position. I knew how he felt because I had been with guys who wanted more with me and I didn't want that with them. At the end of my message, I just told him that I was always sending my love whenever I think of him and I wished him well. In my mind, that was the end and I would never contact him again. In the second year after our breakup, he began contacting me more often. He sent me a really sweet birthday message, and he had some of his family and friends also send me a birthday message. We talked about catching up over Skype, and he said he would Skype me, but he never did. I deleted him from my contacts on WhatsApp, not because I hated him, but because I thought it was the best thing for me to truly heal. And it worked. I healed. Now it is more than 2 years after our breakup. He contacts me regularly. He sent a surprise gift to my son. He is traveling to my country, and we're planning to see each other again. It's so funny, during the first year of the breakup, how often I cried, prayed, meditated, read, and did everything I could to manifest him back. But in the end, I had to actually let it go and move on. And once I did that, he became someone who came back. I think that's how law of attraction works. It's energy that is felt between two people. We have to be solid and happy in our own self-love and in our own lives in order to attract the thing we want. The funny thing is, when you are solid and happy in yourself, you don't actually want anything. You are happy with what is. Sure, you can appreciate it when it comes back, but it feels healthier and different because it's not feeling a need. It's just something to enjoy. I listened to what Agnes made, and I tried to manifest him back. Then I tried to let go. The biggest gift I got from Agnes is what made him come back. And that is that I learned to love and respect and appreciate myself. And in learning that, my vibe changed, and he felt that, and he came back. I think it takes time. I think if anywhere in your mind you're worried about time, your vibe is off, and it just won't happen. I know without a doubt that manifesting your reality is something we all do, whether we are conscious of it or not. Thank you, Agnes, for helping me learn the tools to be conscious of what I create in my life. You are such a gift to the world. We all love you. That's lovely, E. Thank you. Very nice. Now, there's a little bit of an extra, because I asked a few questions to E about this, and she has messaged me back saying this. We are a long distance. He's told me all the things wrong. He told me he misses me. He thinks of me all the time and that I am his heart. I think we will end up together on the road. Right now, with my son and his work, we have our hands tied. Anyway, the point of the story really is to say that love was always there. My doubts, my fears, and my insecurities. We both have said we don't want anyone else and that we were happiest when we were together. But neither of us is jumping to try to move because we both have very serious responsibilities. You know, it's all good. We're talking regularly and planning to see each other again for the first time in more than 2 years. Beautiful story. Thank you, E, for sharing that. That's a really good way to start off the year. And I also would like to say there is a wonderful YouTube that my Law of Attraction friend sent me about how to really infuse your desires with love. And he goes through the mechanics of how this particular person, how he actually does this. So I'm going to put a link to his YouTube down below. I think it's so well said, and it is one that I personally watch from time to time because it is a beautiful, beautiful explanation. So thank you, E, for your story, and I will, as always, see you again in the next YouTube. I just want to say that I have been off the grid, firstly to have a bit of a rest and to recharge my own battery, but also I am in Sydney, Australia, and for those of you that do not know and haven't seen the news, the fires in this country are out of proportion, catastrophic at the moment. My mum and I have had to evacuate from where I live with her when I am here, and there have been about 1,300 houses burnt to the ground, many deaths, and the country is still on fire. There's still 150 fires approximately burning. So for those of you that could do a quick little imaginal scene to imagine us having some rain, that would be wonderful. A nice big downpour would do this country the world of good, since it is in drought, extremely high temperatures at the moment, and also wind. Not a great recipe for the fires. So thank you in advance to those of you that can spare a few moments. I would really appreciate that. Lots of love, and I will see you in the next YouTube.